Welcome to the deep dive. If you've ever felt that little bit of anxiety when you walk into a busy cafe somewhere new, or maybe you're facing a server who's, well, waiting for your order, then this deep dive is definitely for you.
Mm-hmm.
Today, we are really digging into the essential things you need to know to sort of master ordering in English. We want to turn that, potentially nervous moment into something where you feel confident, skilled even. And it's more than just words, right? Whether you're traveling, maybe working where English is spoken, or you just really want to get better at real-world conversation, getting this dining ritual right. It's key.
It really is.
It means getting a table, ordering specifically, asking for changes, and handling the payment smoothly. Basically, the whole dining experience from start to finish.
That's right. And our mission today, it really goes beyond just a basic phrasebook.
Yeah.
We're taking these scenarios, these specific situations from the sources, and turning them into practical language tools you can use with confidence. We're not just looking at what to say, but really understanding the tone, that implied message.
Yeah.
That makes the whole thing work well. We want to make sure every request you make sounds good and is understood perfectly.
Okay, let's unpack this then. Starting right at the beginning, that first moment you walk in. So the first hurdle is just getting your spot right. You walk in, find the host or a server, and you need to say what you need clearly, politely. This is where you go from just thinking, okay, I need 2 seats, to actually saying it politely. And first impressions matter. The way you structure this first ask is pretty vital.
Absolutely. And the phrase that works almost everywhere uses that conditional tense. It just softens the request.
Yeah.
So the standard polite way is, could we have a table for 2, please?
All right, the could we.
Yeah, see how could makes it sound like, a manageable possibility, not like you're demanding it.
And what if you need a different number of seats? We need to make sure you know how to adjust that.
Oh, sure. Clarity here is key. You have to give them the number right away. So if you're alone, it's simple. A table for 1, please.
Okay.
Or if you're a bigger group, just swap the number. A table for 5, please. Boom, you've told them exactly what they need to know. Table, how many?
We sort of touched on this, but let's go a bit deeper. Why is being polite right at the door so important? Why not just, table for 2? Yeah. Or even, I want a table for 2.
Okay. This is where language connects to, the culture of service work.
Yeah.
If you use something direct like, I want a table, or just bark, table for 2, you're using an imperative, or it's very clipped, very informal.
Right.
Linguistically, that signals you see it as purely transactional.
Yeah.
It can sound like you're ignoring the server side of things, or maybe the fact the restaurant might be, totally full. It often comes across as demanding, maybe a bit abrupt. But phrases like, could we have, or can I have, they're like signals. They show respect. They acknowledge the server is doing something for you, which might take effort, clearing a table, checking the book, whatever. Using please and that conditional could, you're basically asking, is this possible for you to do? And that just smooths things over, sets a much better tone right from the start. It's kind of an advanced idea, realizing politeness actually helps you, especially when things are busy.
So you're basically acknowledging their work before they've even done anything. It's about respecting the effort involved.
Precisely. And one last little detail for this entrance part, especially if you're somewhere, reservations are common. If the host asks if you have one.
Oh, yeah, good point.
You just need a clear yes or no, then explain. So if yes, I have a reservation under the name, your name. If no, you go back to that polite request. No, we don't, but could we wait for a table for 3? The main thing is being ready with the name or to ask about waiting.
Great. So we're seated, menus are out, and the first real order interaction usually starts with drinks. The server comes back pretty quick, usually asking something like, can I get you something to drink?
Right. And how you answer tells them something. If you know exactly what you want, using I'll have is super efficient. Sounds confident, too. Like, yes, I'll have a glass of Pinot Grigio, please. That's definite. You've decided.
Okay. And the other option, could I get? You mentioned that one, too.
Yeah. Could I get is a little softer. It keeps that politeness we like, which is good if maybe you're still kind of deciding, or it's just a small request. Could I get an iced tea, please? Both work perfectly fine, but maybe the first one I'll have feels a bit quicker in the moment.
Now, this is where the deep dive part really applies, I think, because just ordering a coffee or a water, well, that's usually not enough these days, is it?
No, definitely not.
If you're vague, you're just asking for a bunch of follow-up questions, and that slows everything down.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The source called it a small tip, but honestly, it's huge in practice. We have to get past those generic words.
Yeah.
Like coffee, you mentioned coffee.
Yeah.
In lots of Western cafes, Coffee might mean just standard filter coffee. But if you want something espresso-based, you have to say it. You really need to know the options. A black coffee, an Americano, maybe a decaf latte, or a flat white.
Right.
Think about the hassle you're saving. If you say, I'll have a latte, the server knows exactly what to tell the barista. But if you just say coffee, they have to ask, okay, what kind, what size, milk, sugar. You've just made the whole thing take like 30 seconds longer. Specificity equals efficiency here.
That makes total sense. And what about sizes? That can be confusing too. Ordering a large isn't always the same everywhere.
Oh, that's a brilliant point for anyone learning. Some independent places might use small, medium, large.
Yeah.
But the big chains, they often have their own words, tall, grande, venti.
Right, like Starbucks.
Exactly. If you know you're in one of those, using their terms makes you sound like you know what you're doing. You get the size you actually want.
Yeah.
If it's an indie place, standard, small, regular, large usually works. But be ready to point if they have sizes shown somewhere.
And water. Seems so simple, but you said it has hidden issues.
Water. Classic example of cultural differences. In North America, usually the default is free tap water, awesome with ice. So if you want that, you might say, just a glass of water for the table, please.
Okay.
But if you're in Europe, often the default is bottled water, and you need to specify. If you want tap water, you often have to ask directly, could we have some tap water, please? Sometimes it's called carafe water.
Good to know.
And if you are ordering bottled water, again, be specific. I'll bottle of sparkling water, or I'd like a large still water. This difference is really important, not just to be correct, but because bottled water costs money and tap water is usually free.
So being specific isn't just about sounding good. It's about managing expectations, navigating costs, cultural norms. Wow, yeah, that's a real deep dive insight. Okay, drinks are sorted. Now the server's back for the main event, the food order. The stakes feel a little higher, maybe. And keeping up that politeness is still really important because, well, this involves more kitchen work.
Exactly. So we've got 3 main ways to phrase your choice clearly while still being respectful. The first one, probably the most universally good, formal, reliable one, uses that polite would like. I'd like the chicken sandwich, please.
Okay. I like.
Yeah, it's polished, it's clear, works anywhere from a casual spot to fine dining. The second way is our old friend, the conditional request. It links back to that idea of framing it as something the server can help you with. Could I have the vegetarian pasta? This one's especially good if maybe you're checking if they even have it or you're just a bit unsure.
Right. And the third one, you mentioned it feels a bit more casual, more fluent.
Yeah, that's the conversational choice. I'll go for the grilled salmon. Native speakers often use this in places that are maybe a bit faster paced or more relaxed, like a pub or just a local restaurant.
Okay, I'll go for.
It sort of implies you've made a quick final decision, helps keep the conversation flowing. It's almost like saying, yep, decided, let's move on.
Now, you mentioned that feeling, like you're paralyzed when the menu looks complicated or has things you don't recognize. If you don't know the ingredients or how something's cooked, how can you ask for help without feeling, well, ignorant?
Oh, this is a fantastic chance to actually engage more and sound interested. Never, ever hesitate to ask for advice. One way is just, what do you recommend? Maybe add a bit about what you're looking for. I'm looking for something light. That helps the server narrow it down for you.
Okay.
And, even better sometimes, showing you know about special shows respect for the chef's effort. Instead of just asking for a general recommendation from the menu, ask about what's unique today. What's today's special? Or maybe, do you have any off-menu items you'd suggest?
Interesting.
See how those questions change it from just ordering like, I want X, give me X, into a quick collaborative chat. You're using the server's knowledge.
That's a great approach. I guess asking what's popular works too. Like, what is your most popular appetizer? Or what dish are you guys known for? Gives you some social proof for your choice.
Exactly. Leverage their expertise. #HighV2. Clarifying and special requests.
Okay, this is where it can get tricky, I think. This is often where learners might freeze up. The menu has something great, but you need one thing changed. Maybe you don't like something or you have an allergy. Customizing the order, this needs maximum politeness, right? Because you're asking the kitchen to change their usual routine.
Indeed. This is critical. We need to break down the language for these changes. Let's start with modifications, adding or removing ingredients. That conditional tense is really your best friend here.
Okay.
So, to leave something out, the structure is clear but polite. Could I have the burger without onions, please? Or maybe swapping a side dish. Could I swap the fries for a side salad? Using could I frames it as something doable, not a command.
Right. Makes sense. What if it's about how it's cooked, like steak temperature or how spicy something is?
Same powerful structure, just focus on the action needed. Could you make the steak rare? Or, if you're worried about heat, could you make it a little less spicy? Using a little less is often better than saying not spicy, because sometimes, depending on the base ingredients, not spicy might be impossible for them.
Good tip. Okay, now the second category, which is super important, dietary restrictions. Nowadays, safety is everything. Getting this right isn't just polite, it's about health.
Absolutely critical. And we should probably go deeper than just gluten-free or vegetarian, like the critique suggested. Let's talk severe allergies, like nuts.
Okay, yes. How do you handle that?
If the allergy is severe, the language has to be crystal clear. No ambiguity. First, you might need to ask if they can even handle it safely. I have a severe nut allergy. Can the kitchen guarantee there will be no cross-contamination?
Wow, that's direct.
It has to be. But framing it respectfully as a question gives them the space to be honest if they can't guarantee it.
Yep.
If it's maybe a less severe intolerance, like dairy, you ask about alternatives. Do you have any non-dairy milk alternatives, like oat or almond milk for the coffee? Or if you need to check ingredients in a dish, does the sauce on the salmon contain any butter or cream? You have to be specific.
That's a great example, asking about specific ingredients, and for the more general things like gluten-free or vegetarian.
Those are usually a bit easier because many menus mark them now, but it's still smart to double check. General question, do you have any gluten-free options marked on the menu? Or to check a specific item? Just to confirm, is the minestrone soup vegetarian?
Okay, let's zoom out again for a sec. Why is could I have or could you make so vital here, especially when it's a complex request like an allergy modification?
Because asking for a change creates operational friction. That's the key idea. When you ask to leave out onions or check for allergens, you're making the kitchen line and the server stop their normal flow. They have to communicate the change, handle it differently.
Right, it's extra work.
Exactly. So by using the conditional could, you're acknowledging that extra step. You're basically saying, look, I know this is a bit unusual, but if it's possible, could you help me with this? That acknowledgement encourages cooperation.
Whereas a demand.
Yeah, to demand like, give me the burger without onions, could easily create resistance, even if it's subconscious. But a polite request, almost always met with, sure, no problem, I'll let the kitchen know. Your language smooths the way for a complicated process.
Okay, the complicated part, the ordering is done. We're enjoying the food. But the interaction isn't quite over yet. There's usually that mid-meal check-in, right? The server comes by and asks, how's everything? Or maybe is everything all right here?
Yep, that quick check. And your answer needs to be pretty efficient. Mostly, hopefully, you're giving positive feedback. Keep it short, but sound genuine. It's delicious, thank you. Or just a simple, everything's great, thanks. A quick positive response lets them get back to their other tables.
But what if something is wrong? Not like a disaster, but maybe you need a refill or you dropped your fork. How do you get their attention politely without interrupting too much?
Right. You always start with something to get their attention that also apologizes for interrupting. Excuse me. Then straight into that polite, conditional request. If you need something, excuse me, could you please bring us some more water? Or if something's missing, excuse me, we seem to be missing a fork. Could you bring one, please? See how we keep coming back to please and could you?
Yeah, let's consistent.
Now, if they brought you the wrong dish entirely, okay, that's probably the most stressful one. The key is avoid confrontation, never accuse.
Okay.
Start with a diplomatic statement about the situation. Excuse me, I think there might be a mix-up with my order. Notice the I think. It softens it. It suggests a mistake happened somewhere in the process, not necessarily that the server messed up personally.
Ah, that's clever. Using I think diffuses tension. You're inviting them to help fix it, not blaming them.
Precisely. And if the error is more subtle, say, your steak is cooked well done, when you ask for medium rare, you can be specific, but still use that soft tone. Excuse me, I think my steak might be a little overdone. Could the kitchen perhaps check this for me? Again, you're asking them to help resolve it with you. That polite structure protects you from sounding like you're just complaining.
Okay. This stage also covers asking for extra things, right? Like maybe you finished the bread or need more sauce. Back to the basics.
Absolutely. Same structures. Could we get another basket of bread, or I'd like another side of ketchup, please? The simplicity works. You're just keeping up that polite dynamic you started with, showing that even a small request is still treated as, well, a request for service.
All right, the meal was great, hopefully. We're at the final stage, asking to pay. This part's really important for you listening because it changes depending on where you are, the dialect, and also there's tricky cultural things around tipping.
Let's hit the terminology first. This is a classic marker of whether you know the local way. If you're eating out in North America, the US, Canada, the word is check. So you ask for the total by saying, could we get the check, please?
Check. Got it.
But if you're in the UK, Ireland, Australia, New Zealand, much of the Commonwealth, the word is bill. So there you'd ask, could we have the bill, please?
Bill. Okay.
Using the right word just shows you're clued in, makes things a tiny bit smoother, less chance of a slight confusion.
Simple enough. Know where you are. Now, the more complicated bit, groups. Paying when you're with other people. How do you split it?
All right, group dynamics need specific language. If you're out with friends and you all want to just split the total cost equally, say 4 people, split it 4 ways, you ask the server.
Right.
Could we split the bill or could we split the check 4 ways? That's usually pretty easy for them, especially with card machines now.
Okay, splitting it evenly.
But the really complex one, the one that takes staff time, is when everyone wants to pay only for what they personally ordered. You have to be super clear about this. Could we pay separately? That tells them they need to figure out who had what. And because it is more work for them, using an extra polite tone here is definitely a good idea.
Okay, pay separately. Now let's add that cultural layer that wasn't really in the original script detail.
Yeah?
Tipping. This trips up so many people, especially traveling to the U.S.
Oh, yeah. This is essential. It directly impacts this final step. In North America, especially the U.S., tipping usually isn't optional. It's expected. It's a huge part of how servers earn their living. The standard is generally, what, 15% to 20% of the cost before tax?
Yeah, around there.
So you need to know how to handle this when you ask to pay. Often if you pay by card, they bring the machine or a slip, and there's a specific line for gratuity or tip. You need to fill that in before you sign or complete the transaction.
But what if they've already added a service charge? That happens sometimes, especially in Europe or for big groups even in the U.S.
Good point. Yeah. You need to know how to ask about that so you don't accidentally tip twice. You can ask politely, is the service charge already included in the bill? Or included in the check?
Okay.
If they say yes, it's included, then generally you don't need to add more, though some people might add a little extra for really great service. If they say no, it's not included, then you'd add the standard tip yourself.
Right.
So if we connect this back, this whole final exchange, asking for the check or bill, figuring out how to split it, handling the tip, it really shows how just asking for something is tied up with money, culture, social rules. Getting the language right here means you're also navigating the local economic customs of eating out. #tag78. Key takeaways and final practice.
True. Okay. We have successfully navigated the entire meal, from walking in politely to paying correctly. Let's just pull together the main things we've learned in this pretty comprehensive deep dive.
I think the absolute #1 takeaway has to be that golden rule of politeness. We keep saying it, but it's crucial. Being polite in service English isn't just about being nice. It's really about acknowledging the server's work, their agency. Consistently using those conditional phrases, could I, I'd like, and always adding please. It just minimizes friction, makes everything clearer, smoother.
They're like the secret keys to getting cooperation, aren't they? I'll have the soup is fine, totally acceptable. But could I have the soup, please? Adds that layer of respect, and that respect just helps things along, makes service faster, better. It's actually a strategic move.
Exactly. And that brings us to maybe the most important non-language tip. Yeah. Don't worry too much about making small mistakes. Seriously, knowledge is great, but actually using it builds confidence. Every server, everywhere, knows people are learning languages. Just the fact that you're trying to use could I or I'll go for, even if your grammar isn't perfect, sends a huge signal of goodwill. They're usually patient. They appreciate the effort to communicate clearly. The intent behind using polite language often matters more than nailing every single word.
So with that in mind, we want to give you, our listener, a really practical challenge. This comes straight from the source material we looked at. This is how you turn knowing into doing.
Okay.
Your challenge is this. Take 5 minutes today, maybe later. Write out a full dine-up conversation for yourself. How would you ask for a table for 2? Order a specific drink. Be specific. Maybe a large decaf latte. Request a change to your food. Say, no mushrooms on the pizza. Then ask for the check and ask about paying separately.
Map it all out.
Yeah, map it all out for yourself. Then, and this is key, say it out loud. Rehearse it. Even better if you can grab a friend to practice with. This takes it from just theory in your head to actual practice language you can use. It makes your next meal out a real confident practice session.
That repetition, it builds fluency. You really do now have a solid, pretty sophisticated toolkit for handling every single stage of eating out with confidence. Hashtag outtag outro.
You've definitely got the shortcut now to ordering confidently and in a culturally aware way, too.
And maybe here's one last little thought for you to chew on. Think about how the level of politeness maybe interacts with the speed of the service needed.
Interesting.
Like in a drive-through, speed is everything, right?
Yeah.
So direct language, I'll take a number 2, is often expected, even preferred.
Yeah, totally.
But in a sit-down restaurant, where the server builds a bit more of a relationship with you over several steps, that politeness becomes much more important. It shows that the core polite structures, the could-I-haves, the pleases, they're always good, but how much emphasis they get might shift depending on the context. Sometimes efficiency wins, sometimes it's all about mutual respect.
That's a fascinating distinction. Really elevates the whole idea. Well, thank you for joining us for this really crucial deep dive.
My pleasure. Till next time.